Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sid, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the pet primate trade in the United States. Whenever I look into these communities of people who own exotic animals, there's always some kind of saga going on, and it usually always involves some kind of shady dealings and, of course, animal abuse. But before I get into all of that, I first want to thank today's sponsor, Aura. At this point, I'm sure everybody has received robocalls or spam emails and wondered how they got your email or your phone number to begin with. They got it because data brokers are making fortunes selling your personal information. And the great thing about Aura is that Aura can identify these data brokers exposing your information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your information if you ask them to, but of course they don't make that easy. That is where Aura steps in. They handle all of the back and forth for you. And Aura doesn't stop there, they do so much more to protect you and your family from the online threats you can't see. And it can all be done by downloading their app. It's super easy to set up, and you don't need a whole bunch of different apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, a VPN, and so much more. It's all in the one place and at one affordable price. So if you want to keep your private information private and stop brokers from profiting off of and exploiting your information, then go to aura.com/sid to start your 2-week free trial. Also linked below in the description. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to talk about a couple of vervet monkeys named Mojo and Maya. Their story began in early 2020 when a man named Carlos and his wife Lauren purchased Mojo as a pet. And as soon as they did that, they started documenting the process of owning a baby monkey on TikTok and on YouTube. But in the last couple of days, Carlos has deleted all of his TikTok videos and his YouTube videos. So when the videos and the TikToks were still up, they showcased the fun side to owning a monkey, but also showcased the dark side to owning a monkey. They warned people against owning monkeys because of how much effort it is.
We support responsible pet ownership only.
Absolutely.
Yes. If you do not have the resources, the time, and the patience that having and caring for a monkey or any animal in that matter really takes, you probably should not consider getting one.
But in mid-2021, Carlos and Lauren got a divorce. Carlos got to keep Mojo, and he continued to post on social media, and his following only continued to grow as well. He regularly went viral for posting cute TikToks of him and Mojo, and then Carlos soon remarried to another woman named Marla. And it was during this marriage that Carlos started to release merchandise around Mojo. He had a Mojo stuffed toy made and a keychain as well. And then Marla and Carlos started to expand their family. They got a dog together, but it was registered under Marla's name. It was a standard poodle named Rilla, but they didn't stop there. They got another vervet monkey named Maya. In February 2022, Carlos traveled to Tennessee to get Maya, and she already had a little bit of an online presence, so she was the perfect fit for Carlos. And the way that she was introduced online was through a man named Michael Robertson. A year after Carlos went viral on social media with Mojo, Michael started posting a baby spider monkey named Winston that he apparently saved from the poaching trade. He put his story out there and went viral as well. He shared his life with monkeys on social media and also talked about and asked for donations for the primate-based rescue that he ran. And one of the monkeys that he rescued was Maya.
How did you guys end up getting Maya?
So Maya's a rescue. She came from an organization known as Spartan. They specialize in a primate rescue and sanctuary. So that's where she came with. We partnered up with them to help vervets.
When Carlos collected Maya, he took a video with Winston, Michael's spider monkey, and then he took Maya home. Then after that, he made multiple videos talking about how Maya had trauma. But he never specifically said what caused Maya's trauma, whether it was before Michael rescued her or if it was Michael who caused that trauma. But Carlos said that she was just scared of everything. And during this period of time, Marla stopped working so that she could take care of everything. And that was when she started to experience some kind of moral conflict around caging the monkeys and using them for profit. And when she didn't want to be a part of that lifestyle anymore, that is when her life started to go downhill with Carlos and she had to run.
My life went up in shambles when I decided to no longer play along with certain things. I was, convinced to stop working so that I could care for things. I had wanted to get the animals into a sanctuary in Texas because I didn't think that it was fair that they lived their life in cages and were used for monetary gain. I thought it was a sad way of life for animals to live. And that is when everything imploded in my life. Things got very, very, very bad for me. And for my safety, I had to flee as far away as I could.
A protection order was put in place and Carlos did violate it. Amidst all of the chaos, Rilla, the dog they got together, couldn't go with Marla. But then Rilla was found wandering the streets and picked up by animal control as a stray. Because it was Marla's details on the microchip, she was contacted. As she explained in one of her TikToks, she left their marriage with a lot of debt and didn't have a place to keep Rilla anymore. So she arranged with the animal shelter for Rilla to go to a home that had already once cared for her during COVID.
I don't know the story, I just know that she was picked up in a neighborhood as a stray, was covered in mats, in a very deplorable condition. She is a standard poodle, and it was really sad. My first instinct was to try and go back and get her, but I did not have the funds to do so. I did not have the funds to continue to care for her because I was fighting in and out of homelessness myself.
At the same time, Carlos was experiencing some issues with the monkeys. They were starting to smell and completely stink out his new house, so he needed to build an outdoor enclosure for them. And Mojo was also becoming more aggressive and his canines were growing in, so his bites were becoming a little more painful. Then, not long after bringing up those concerns, his monkeys completely vanished. Then they reappeared on social media, but they were no longer with Carlos. They were with Michael Robertson, the guy he got Maya off of to begin with, and the guy who went viral for Winston the spider monkey. And there was a huge amount of concern when people found out where Maya and Mojo were. People were making comments that Carlos had dumped his monkeys at an animal abuser's place. So how did Michael go from being loved for rescuing a very cute spider monkey and also having a primate rescue to then being called an animal abuser? So it mainly started to unravel when he did TikTok lives. If you don't know, through TikTok lives, people can send gifts to the person who is live, and those gifts equate to in real life money. And during these lives, he would ask for gifts as well as encourage people to join cryptocurrencies.
Guys, I've worked with crypto for a long time, came out of the fintech world. I'm a big skeptic, I don't do a lot of investing in that world. But when I see something good that can make a difference for you, I just want to share it with you guys because I care about you guys. I just wouldn't waste any time. It's been growing.
And according to him, all of those things were for the betterment of his rescue and primates.
So we'll be working to break ground on incredible property. We're working with the Monkeys Token crew to be a part of that, to break ground on an incredible center where we're able to care for the monkeys and so many animals.
But upon closer inspection, his rescue was just some small cages in his backyard and in his garage. But even though that was as clear as day, he would make claims that he rescued over 400 animals.
I've seen one in person, other than the zoo.
Yeah, well, I run a rescue, so...
Oh, really? What's the name of it?
Yeah, it's called Spartan.
Spartan?
Yep, so we've got I don't know, what are we up to, like 400 and some now?
They're so cute.
It doesn't take much of a look at his content to see that he is just a guy with a handful of monkeys in his residential home. He also wants to make his supposed sanctuary hands-on, which is the last thing any legitimate sanctuary would want to do.
But also allow places for people to come and volunteer, to experience the animals, to be hands-on and up close with animals. This is a dying thing in the United States. Maybe you grew up going to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus and getting to experience the animals. Maybe you know who Gunther Gable Williams is. All of those sorts of things where people are interacting with animals. The Steve Irwins of the world who lived in a generation and led in a generation where animals and humans were able to interact in a beautiful and incredible way. And with the animal rights activists and the way the laws are changing, those things are going away. And so we want to create a slice of the world to preserve that, to give people an opportunity to continue to experience that, to be able to experience the love from these animals.
There are a host of reasons why that is a bad idea. Not only can a monkey bite cause some serious harm to a human, but that is just a very stressful situation to continuously put monkeys into, or any kind of animal. He has actually recently opened up a wild encounters business, and at the moment there's just a few fake reviews on the website, so hopefully it stays that way. He would also make TikTok videos asking for donations for various things, and since the people who make donations to him are invested in whatever he needed donations for, they stay tuned in his life to check for updates. But there would be no updates, and the monkeys that he needed money to save would never appear.
We've been contacted by the state and some local authorities about a marmoset, some squirrel monkeys, and a spider monkey, but we still need to raise about $4,000. And right now we're working very hard to save 3 macaques that are stuck in port, and we need your help. We need to raise the money to care for them. We're going to be picking up almost half a dozen marmoset monkeys, one of which is pregnant, some babies that desperately need to be picked up because their life is at risk, and a couple of other species, including a spider monkey. But we need your help. In order to successfully pull this off, we need to put an additional $8,500 into Spartan.
In late 2021, he joined forces with a guy named Cy Viestra, who ran the Union Ridge Wildlife Center. During that time, a lady gave her pet squirrel monkey and a sloth with $5,000 to the Union Ridge Wildlife Center for them to look after. According to private conversations with Cy, he said that Michael pocketed the $5,000 and then sold the animals that they were supposed to be looking after. Around the same time, Michael posted a video to his social media with a sloth and a squirrel monkey in the back of his car, asking for donations to Spartan in the description. So even if Michael did end up getting his hands on the animals he claims he was raising money for, who knows what he was actually going to do with them. And the sloth and squirrel monkey weren't the only animals he posted to social media claiming he rescued them. He posted a number of animals to social media saying that it was the work of Spartan. But then Cy spoke up and said that Michael had been using photos and videos of Union Ridge and passing it off as Spartan. In saying that, Cy definitely isn't any better than Michael and has had his fair share of issues with exotic animals and monkeys. If you watched my Chimp Queens video, you will know that for a number of months he helped hide a chimpanzee known as Tonka. That was because the owner of Tonka was sued by PETA for breaching the Endangered Species Act. PETA, of course, won the lawsuit because chimpanzees shouldn't be kept as pets, and Tonka was ordered to be taken to a sanctuary. But instead, the owner faked his death so they didn't have to do that. So while he was supposedly dead, he was being concealed at the Union Ridge Wildlife Center with Cy. And that was not the first time that Cy was involved with faking the death of a primate. In 2019, a friend of 20 years contacted him asking if he could look after her 3 Java macaques, Abby, Toby, and George. She was going through some things in her life at the time and needed some help with the monkeys, so for multiple weeks they stayed with him. But when she tried to arrange the collection of her monkeys from him, he ghosted her. She did seek out help from the authorities, but she was told that it was an issue that they had to sort out amongst themselves. So she tried to sue him, but then she got a letter in the mail from the Department of Agriculture informing her that her monkeys had been humanely euthanized for health reasons. And then after some investigation, her monkey Abby was found alive and well in a TikTok video. She then confronted Cy with this information, and he had no choice but to admit that he faked their deaths to the Department of Agriculture. Cy was able to get Abby back from the guy that he gave her to, and then the original owner sent Abby to a sanctuary, but Cy said that George and Toby were sent to a sanctuary in Texas, but never divulged which sanctuary or who he gave them to, so they were never seen again. Then in early 2023, for an unrelated matter, Cy was sentenced to almost 5 years in prison. He was previously the Vinton Township Fiscal Officer in Vinton, Ohio, but it was discovered that in 2020, Cy spent almost $300,000 of the town's money on exotic animals and funding for other aspects of his wildlife park. And then in the midst of all of that, before Cy went to prison, Cy and Michael joined forces. Through Michael's Rescue Spartan, they were attempting to raise $348,000. The money donated was supposedly for a chimp house at the Union Ridge Wildlife Center. There were also perks if certain amounts were donated. If someone donated $25,000, they could spend 2 days with some chimps. Then in December 2021, in a newsletter written by Cy, he revealed that he was scammed by Michael. He said that when Michael came into his life, he was charismatic, well-spoken, and wanted to help him and the sanctuary. But he said that he found himself the victim of a con artist. Karma. Apparently, every dime donated had been used for Michael's personal gain. According to Cy, Michael had also accepted donations for Union Ridge through Spartan. The clearest indication that the donations weren't used for what they were supposed to be used for was the fact that there was no progress on the chimp house. But it was questioned if Cy was even telling the truth, because the same PayPal link that Michael was promoting for donations was the same link that was on the Union Ridge Facebook page. But at the end of Cy's newsletter, he did ask for PayPal donations through a different email address. So it may have been possible that Michael had access to or was in control of that PayPal account, because he is now in control of Joe Exotic's PayPal account.
Can you send money to Joe's books? Yes, you sure can. Joe, and it's 2 E's, so Joee Exotic, joeexotic.tv. At the bottom down there is his PayPal. When you send to that PayPal, it goes straight to his books. So we do that on a regular basis to love on Joe and take care of him. And, Joe does have a crypto wallet, but I'll let him tell you about that.
If you don't know, Joe Exotic is running for president, so Michael stepped up to be his press secretary. And as a part of that, Joe calls Michael from prison while Michael does TikTok lives.
Will not be charged for this call. This call is from Joe. You may begin speaking now. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Joe. How you doing, man?
During those calls, Joe raises awareness about his plea. He also agrees with Michael's stance on allowing people to handle exotic animals, and talks about why Carol Baskin doesn't allow people to handle big cats when she had her rescue.
Carol covered up her bullshit by, I have a policy that we don't do any contact with our animals. Well, it's because they hate you.
That's right. Yep, that's exactly it.
They also discuss the Captive Primate Safety Act, which would prohibit the ownership of primates across the United States, and Michael and Joe are not in favor of that. Joe talks about how it may only take one more incident like the Charla Nash and Travis the Chimp incident for the Captive Primate Safety Act to pass.
You know, when they had the chimpanzee that attacked that old lady, what was it, South Carolina or Connecticut or somewhere over there years
Connecticut.
ago? You know, all it's going to take is one more bad accident.
That's right.
Okay?
Yep.
This call is from a federal prison.
And he used that as a poster child to do this.
But he doesn't think that is an accurate example of primate ownership, because most primate owners care for their primates, according to him.
I was flabbergasted of how much, first of all, your monkey cost, okay?
Right.
And anybody that's going to spend $10,000 to $20,000 on a primate is going to take care of the damn thing.
Right.
What I think is most interesting with him saying that is that he had chimpanzees that he didn't care for. His chimps spent 10 plus years in a small cage separated from each other. And at the end of Tiger King, it seemed as though he regretted doing that to his chimps.
Go sit in a cage with your animal for a week. I mean, when I left the zoo and I sent my chimpanzees to the sanctuary in Florida, and imagine what my chimpanzees went through for 18 years, I'm ashamed of myself. And we moved them to the Great Ape Center in Florida. And in 2 days, they were out in a big yard hugging on each other. Did I deprive them of that for 10 years? Yep. I deprived them of being chimpanzees.
But it seems like he doesn't care what he put his chimps through anymore, and doesn't care about any primates going through a similar sort of thing in the future. He actually said that his next target is the Endangered Species Act.
And this damn Endangered Species Act?
Yep.
That's my next target, is to dismantle the Endangered Species Act.
Yep.
The reason why that act is such a threat to exotic animal owners is because it gives organizations like PETA a way to sue exotic animal owners who have endangered exotic animals. But these acts need to be in place to protect animals from people like Michael and Joe. When Michael was first getting Spartan and his TikTok started, another content creator with a monkey and other exotic animals got into some trouble with the Department of Agriculture. That content creator was Rico Exotic, and he lived in Ohio and had a number of exotic animals, but his monkey was the biggest issue for the Department of Agriculture because he didn't have a permit for it. So one night, the authorities kicked his door down in search of the monkey.
I was so confused because I didn't know what I could have possibly did that would cause something like this.
The agency received a tip.
They cuffed me, then I'm asking like, what did I do? They're like, where's the monkey?
ODA classifies Mike, a Grivet monkey, as a dangerous wild animal.
He posted about what happened online, and a bunch of news stations covered the story. Michael then reached out to him to offer his assistance, and then while things were in limbo with Rico and his monkey, he took the monkey to Michael to look after.
What's up, guys? Here with Rico and Mike, hanging out, and he is getting ready to hit the road, so Mike's going to be hanging out with us for a while, but just for a while, just so we can get everything settled, get these guys squared away so that Mike can be right back home with his dad. So that is the plan, but in the meantime, he'll be with Winston, Maya, and crew right around here.
All the while, Michael posted about the situation online, and at the same time talked about the primate rescue he was in the process of starting up. He was also accepting donations for caring for the monkey, which could also be made through cryptocurrency. And during this time, Michael became subject to oversight from the Ohio Department of Agriculture, and that was because Rico wasn't actually allowed to even take the monkey out of state to Michael's place. So that got Michael in a little bit of hot water with the ODA, but what it also did was open up a line of communication between him and them. But no serious repercussions were brought on Michael, and he eventually returned the monkey to Rico when Rico moved to a state where he could keep a monkey. A similar situation happened at a later point with another monkey content creator called Monkey Mama Melissa. Michael befriended her, and they talked about their situations with their monkeys. And one of the things that Melissa told Michael was that she had a visitor's permit to take her 2 spider monkeys into Ohio once a month. Since spider monkeys are classed as a dangerous animal in Ohio, they require a permit to be owned or brought into the state. And Melissa had a permit to bring the monkeys into Ohio once a month so that she could help her mother, but Michael seemed to think that Melissa was bringing the monkeys into the state more than once a month. So thanks to the Rico situation, he had the contact details to a man who worked for the Ohio Department of Agriculture. Michael decided to message that guy and ask for clarification around the visitor's permit. He was told that it was okay for out-of-state residents to visit with their monkeys for up to 48 hours once a month. Then Michael specifically asked the guy how it was possible for Melissa to visit Ohio with her monkeys more than once a month. And the guy told Michael that that wasn't permitted. Then shortly after that exchange, Melissa's door was knocked down and guns were pointed in her and her son's faces.
Police ward!
And when it was suspected that Michael had something to do with it, he got a bunch of backlash from within the monkey community. Apparently his friends, family, and followers were getting dragged into it, so he decided to admit his role in what happened. In a Reddit post, he talked about his involvement and that he is maybe to blame for the mess. He also shared a text message between him and the guy from the ODA, making sure to mention that he didn't do all of this to try and get Melissa's monkeys. But whose monkeys he did get were Carlos's, Mojo, and Maya. People were immediately concerned for the monkeys because of Michael's shady past and the fact that they were going to be put in a small cage in Michael's garage. Around the same time, he was also promoting a cryptocurrency called Monkeys Tokens, and getting involved with that currency was somehow supposed to help him build an actual primate sanctuary, but I couldn't work out how that was going to work. And in an article, to make it seem as if the currency was a worthy investment, he mentioned that his reach expanded by over 11 million after taking on Mojo and Maya and their social media following, but the monkeys were not as profitable for him as I'm sure he hoped. If anything, they made things much more difficult for him.
So you have to understand, when you do life with these guys, you see this? Where he's testing me, and he's going to for a while. So this will happen for a while. I will have some bloody moments here and there as we test him, but damn it, Mojo, that hurt, buddy.
He was being criticized for the way he housed them. Even though he did upgrade their pen a little bit, they still lived in a small indoor cage, but they were given a small outdoor run as well. And in an inspection report from the USDA, it actually said that the cages weren't adequate. But most of all, he was criticized for throwing Mojo across the room when he was bitten.
No. No. Mojo. Mojo, stop. Stop it. Stop. Stop.
Michael also brought his kids around Mojo, and one of his sons was bitten.
Hey, can you take a deep breath and just let everybody know you're okay? He's a little dramatic, but guys, you have to know that they just want to know you're okay. Everybody saw that. They want to know you're okay. This is why the kid's never allowed to be here by themselves. See? He's just fine, guys. Thanks for being a part of our world, and we'll see you all again soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
And then his viewers started to notice that something was a little bit different with Mojo. All of his front teeth were missing. Michael had gotten all of Mojo's front, upper, and bottom teeth removed. Not only is that incredibly cruel, but in a TikTok live stream he said that he has his animals to be as natural as they can possibly be.
I let these guys just be animals. They're not here for me to have some pleasure out of a unique pet or something of that nature. I bring them in and let them be as natural as they can be. So
I just let them be monkeys, period. Yeah, we don't train I don't train. I mean, you can. They're very, very smart. But why would I train them? I'm here to take care of them and be a steward of them. So.
But that is clearly not the case when he gets his monkey's teeth removed. Then in February this year, 2024, 2 vervet monkeys were listed online for sale in Tennessee, where Michael is based. But they weren't listed for sale by Michael, they were listed by a licensed monkey breeder. The breeder said that the monkeys were nameless and were never given names. Despite that, somebody named Anna saw the ad and were certain that it was Mojo and Maya being posted online for sale. So she decided to purchase Mojo and Maya and pay for their transportation to the Dania Beach Vervet Project Sanctuary in Florida. She paid $12,500 out of her own money to get them to safety once and for all. And they're very much enjoying their lives away from people trying to exploit them for money. There is also a GoFundMe at the moment raising money to repay Anna for the money that she spent to get Mojo and Maya to safety. So the link to that will be in the description box. Michael also ended up losing his exhibitor's license and getting cited by the USDA for removing Mojo's teeth. So there is sort of a happy ending here. But there are so many captive primates that don't end up in sanctuaries like Mojo and Maya did. There are over 15,000 primates living in the United States as pets right now, and so many states allow it to happen still.
13 states require a permit or license, 6 states require disease testing, and 7 states partially ban or require permits for only select species. 9 states don't have any permit or licensing requirements whatsoever. This means that owning many primate species, in some cases even chimpanzees or other great apes, is still legal in almost 60% of the entire country.
But that can change. The Captive Primate Safety Act was introduced to Congress, and if passed, it will prohibit the ownership of non-human primates, as well as limit most public interactions with them at places like roadside zoos. Not only will it be incredibly beneficial to monkeys, but it will also be beneficial to humans. Often, monkey owners purchase a monkey because of how cute they are, not realizing how much work they require. That means a primate's needs is never fully met in a residential home, and because of that they can become frustrated, depressed, or aggressive. But regardless of how they are cared for, a primate will always become aggressive when they reach sexual maturity that can happen as early as 2 years old.
I've been bit, I know, 100 times, if not more. But I mean, as far as like, you know, I've just gotten used to it, you know, since I've had him.
About at 23 months, he started getting aggressive towards me, and it got to the point that I was nervous to even go in his room to clean out his cage. As far as actual interaction, there wasn't much because I was just afraid to be around him.
All of a sudden, my daughter started screaming, "Get her off of me, get her off of me," and I turned around and there was blood all over.
Many owners will think their primate will remain tame if they continue to handle them, but it takes thousands of years of selective captive breeding to domesticate and tame an animal, and that has not been accomplished with any non-human primate species. So what ends up happening is the primate owner is too scared to interact with their primate, so that deprives them of stimulation and a clean environment. Some owners will give their monkey to a sanctuary when they reach that age, but many others won't. Those ones are sentenced to a lifetime in a cage, and some owners even go to the extreme lengths of removing a primate's teeth so that they can still safely interact with their monkey without worrying about getting bitten. It shocks me that a veterinarian would even do such a thing, but it does happen because there are so many pet monkeys without any teeth. It is incredibly wrong and cruel, and it needs to stop. In the description, I'll have a link to an email you can send off to your local legislator in the United States to let them know you want the Captive Primate Safety Act instated. All you have to do is enter your name and location, and it will autofill the legislator in your area. But yeah, that is pretty much everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and let's take a moment of silence for Charla Nash and all of the primates in captivity as pets. and I will see you in my next video.